In the world of dating, we often find ourselves in situations that make us question our own preferences and deal breakers. Is it the grand gestures that count, or the small details that truly reveal someone's character? Today, I want to share a story that might resonate with many of you. It's about a dinner date that left one person questioning whether to go on a second date, not because of what was said, but because of how dinner was eaten. I'm a 27-year-old woman, and recently, I found myself sitting across from a man of the same age at a nice fancy Italian restaurant. I usually opt for something low-key for a first date, but he was insistent on this venue, and I thought, why not? The evening started off on an interesting note when we were served free bruschetta. He tasted an olive, made a face, and then spat it back into his napkin. Not everyone likes everything, I reminded myself, trying to brush off the initial hiccup. However, as the main course was served, things took a turn that I couldn't ignore. He ordered pasta and a filet mignon to share, only to meticulously separate the vegetables from his pasta onto a separate plate, leaving just the noodles. When the steak arrived, he requested extra butter, using what seemed like half a stick on his portion. It was a moment that caught me off guard, and I'll admit it grossed me out a bit. Now, I want to be clear. I have nothing against people with special dietary preferences. Whether it's for health, ethical, or religious reasons, I completely understand and respect it. But watching a grown man meticulously avoid anything resembling a vegetable and then dousing his steak in butter was a turnoff for me. It wasn't just the eating habits themselves, but what they suggested about our compatibility in lifestyles and values. After the date, I thanked him for the evening, paid for my share, and went home reflecting on the experience. He has since reached out, wanting to see each other again, but I find myself hesitating, unsure of how to proceed. The more I think about it, the more I realize it wasn't just the way he ate that bothered me. There were other signs that night that made me question our compatibility. For instance, despite the restaurant's dress code, he showed up in sneakers that were falling apart and his shirt was marked with sweat stains. It's not that I expect perfection or demand that someone be a Miss Manners world champion, as I'm far from perfect myself. But these little details made me wonder if this is how he presents himself on a first date. What could I expect in the future? This experience has left me pondering the importance of etiquette and personal habits in the early stages of dating. It raises the question of how much weight we should give to these first impressions and whether they are indicative of deeper character traits or simply surface-level quirks. I find myself in a dilemma, wondering if my feelings are reasonable or if I'm being too judgmental. Is it fair to decide against a second date based on someone's dining habits and etiquette? Or are these valid concerns that speak to broader issues of compatibility and shared values? So, I turn to you, my viewers. Have you ever found yourself in a similar situation, where a seemingly small detail had a significant impact on your perception of a potential partner? How do you determine what constitutes a deal breaker for you in the early stages of dating? Your stories and insights are invaluable, and I encourage you to share them in the comments below. Let's navigate these tricky waters of dating together, offering support and understanding to one another as we search for those meaningful connections.